This is Vader Saber 1984.
Also known as that drunk guy and his bullshit opinion. Especially for you people that like to comment about, oh, you sound drunk. Oh, you need to go to AA. The name of the title is That Drunk Guy and His BS Opinion. Anywho, let's do this in ordinary fashion. Grab yourself a drink. Grab yourself smoke. Grab on your butts, your balls, your boobs, whatever you got, because here we go.
That drunk guy and his bullshit opinion. Freedom of speech, bitch!
Yeah! Drunk guy and his bullshit opinion.
That drunk guy and his bullshit opinion.
This drunk guy and his bullshit opinion. You a good motherfucker, Travis?
What can I say? I love tits.
Today's video is gonna be a little creepy and a little crawly. This is something that has been a long-going issue. Spider bites. Ooh, yeah. And how I survived both. Here we go. Now, when you work in Texas, the way I do with your hands, especially in a warehouse format, there are going to be little minor dangers that you don't think about because you're busy working. Well, whether you're outside or in an old warehouse such as what I do, there are critters. And from the depths of nowhere, you don't even know, nests, spider webs, and black widows. Not only will you find black widows, you will find an abundance of them hidden anywhere and everywhere. But that, my friends, is a brown recluse. The first time I was bitten by a black widow about 8 months ago. Wear protective gear. I was bit on my right hand, my middle finger, my favorite one, right there. Even when you have protective gear, being in Texas, you still have to look, which I did not. These were my protective gear. Little did I know, in this one right here, inside the glove, lurking, was a black widow. Now, if you don't know what a black widow is, here's some information. Black widow, thus known as Latrodectus, broadly distributed genus of spider formerly called black widows. If you're bitten by a black widow spider, it is important to save the spider if possible, so that it can be identified by a healthcare professional. Yeah, I didn't do that. Me not checking, me just throwing my gloves on, didn't feel anything. I'm loading up an installer or a customer, whichever it was, and didn't think anything about it. Next thing you know, I wake up, I got a little red dot on my knuckle and my finger area. I'm like, well, wonder what that is. Squeeze, pop, ow. Didn't think anything about it. Go a week and a half, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Here are a few pictures of when I finally went to the doctor. My finger had swollen up so big that it felt like it was under constant sunburn and pressure, to where I finally couldn't take it anymore. So I lanced it myself and squeezed it to release the pressure. And what came out of it? Best description would probably be Jello. Just came out of my finger, and the pressure went away, and the sunburn feeling and the stinging, and it just finally went away. So when the brown recluse bite happened, I was standing just like this with a customer with a pallet loaded full of 15, 16 boxes. And he starts just grabbing away, and I'm putting on my gloves, and I tell him, well, you might want to look out. I've been bitten by a spider before. That's why I wear the gloves. Oh, he doesn't think it's that big of a deal. We're loading into his truck, and as soon as I tell him that, a brown recluse crawls out from nowhere, pretty big sucker, about the size of my thumb, and he drops it. He's like, oh, you weren't kidding. No, I wasn't kidding. That's why I wear these. We finish loading. He goes along his way, and that's that. Little did I know, that bastard got me right there without even knowing it. 2 days later, I didn't feel anything until I'm putting on my jacket. And my jacket just kind of rubs on the inside of my arm, right about there. And I was like, ow, ow, what is that? And I look on my arm, and it is a whitehead, probably about the size of, we'll say a pin tip. So what do? I squeeze the crap out of it, and it hurt way more than it should have. Brown recluse spider. Brown recluse spider, also known as Loxoscelis reclusa, is a venomous spider that can cause serious skin damage and other health problems. Symptoms of a bite: pain, redness, and swelling at the bite site. Blister or open sore that may develop a black center. Fever, chills, nausea, muscle aches and pains, dizziness, weakness. Seek immediate medical attention after you suspect a brown recluse bite. Clean the wound, soap and water, apply ice, elevate, take over-the-counter pain, avoid scratching or picking at the bite. Ooh, I didn't quite do that. Medical treatment. In some cases, a doctor may prescribe antibiotics to prevent infection. Surgery may be necessary if the bite develops a large ulcer. Well, that's what happened. Your discretion is advised. If you have a weak stomach, you can look away. But from the first picture that I have, we'll classify that as day 4. This is the Monday after I was bitten. I was bitten Friday, so we can go just say day 4 through day 26. At day 16 is when I had my little minor surgery. Here we go. Getting to day 16, mind you, this is a Wednesday. I do have to work that day, but the doctor told me I had to be there, and he was going to cut out the rotted area. Now, for one, I'm not going to do the video because I'd probably get me kicked off of YouTube, but the true fact is I didn't record it. Why? Because I don't like needles. I was too busy squeezing and gritting my teeth in pain just from getting the injections. So I'll just set it up for you mentally. He gives me a couple lidocaine shots in the arm, and boy, do they hurt. He goes, all right, here we go. And he starts cutting. Oh, hold on, I feel that. Huh, okay, well, you need some more. So he sticks me again. And then he says, all right, do you feel that? Nope, not really. Okay, good. That was the needle. So he goes in there and he starts cutting. Now, my description of this is just from what I felt. Now, to me, It didn't hurt, but you could feel, the only thing I could say is like a vibration. Now, say if you've ever gotten a tattoo and the vibration that you get from the needle, kind of like that. But probably a little bit more accurate would be the old school tattoos, or like the Samoans or what have you. They do it with kind of like a hammer and chisel type. So while he's sitting there cutting away, no, I'm not looking, but
Pussy.
it's numbed. I'm not in pain. But the vibration itself and me knowing what he is doing is just still making me cringe. So I'm gritting my teeth. I'm looking the other way. I'm tensed up. Not because it hurts. It's just because he cuts on it. And the whole thing, from the time he gets in there to the time he's done and gets it wrapped up, is about 45 minutes. So gets me all cleaned up, wrapped up, said, all right, we'll see you in a week. Here are the pictures. And the healing's been pretty good. I've got it to where it's just a little bit of a scab right now, and you know, every now and again it'll just kind of itch. But so far, everything's getting back to its normal self. But a funny story, he looked at me and he said, all right, now once you leave here, first thing I want you to do, and as serious as he could mention, he says, I want you to go to the store as soon as you're done here. Pick up a Spider-Man costume and be ready for your superpowers. Ah! The doc's got jokes. Being bitten by a black widow and then 8 months later being bitten by a brown recluse sucks. It is not fun. I don't recommend anybody. And quite frankly, you know, no superpowers. Well, they're not radioactive. They're just West Texas assholes that like to bite you when you're trying to work. Accidents happen. A lot of people are like, well, did your work pay for it? Did you sue? Did you get any money out of it? That's not who I am. Nope. I'm not somebody that wants to just cash out and get paid. Do I have a fear of spiders? Have I ever had a fear of spiders? And if now, being bitten twice, do I have a fear of spiders? No, I really don't. They are just creatures on God's earth that, you know, they don't know any better. They do what they do. However, I see one, I kill one. Why? Because I don't want to be bitten again. Now, a couple of shout outs for the video. I definitely want to thank my doctor, Dr. Ordonez. He's a Vietnam vet, great guy, and he just really went above and beyond to help me in the situation. Any chance you get, Dr. Robert Ordonez. He's got a great book that he wrote back in the 90s from coming back from Vietnam. It's a great read. Military, anybody, doesn't matter. Great book. Very beginning of the video, you hear a new voice do my intro. That's my buddy Carter. So definitely want to thank Josh and Carter for letting me do that. You are the best. Lisa, for getting me to the doctor when I was so dizzy and distraught, got me to the doctor, as a friend always does, to help me out. Thank you so much. The lifelong lesson probably would have to come from my dad, since he's passed on, but he always used to tell me, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like I planned on being bitten twice. But I think what he meant in this situation is, don't put yourself in that situation, stupid. Be careful. But other than that, guys, want to go ahead and say thank you for the view. Go ahead and leave me a comment, leave me a like, hit a share. That it always helps. We're trying to build up. Got 123 subscribers. Got to keep getting it up there. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And as always, take care of yourselves. Look out for spiders. And peace.
This is the best goddamn podcast in fucking Lubbock, Texas. Have fun, y'all.
Wearing protective gear, well, even when you wear them, sometimes you don't know what's... Fucking edit. Big trucks, loud revving makes you say, I got a little dick. Fucking prick.